Welcome back to Outta Pocket, the channel where we break down the conversations the internet is too embarrassed to admit it's obsessed with. Today's topic, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, and specifically the strange, intense, affectionate dynamic they're showing during the Wicked press run. These two are both deep and committed relationships. Cynthia Erivo is in a relationship with Lena Waithe. Ariana Grande is engaged to Ethan Slater, who is also her Wicked castmate. So on paper, it should be simple. Two co-stars promoting a movie, nothing unusual. But the internet has been watching their interviews and noticing something interesting. These two stay hugging, they stay touching, they hold hands, they lean on each other. Cynthia low-key posts up like she's Ariana's personal security detail, and viewers started asking, why is this so much? Today we're going deep into why people feel that way, how parasocial culture twists normal affection into scandal, and why this whole situation has turned into one of the strangest online debates of 2025. The Wicked promo run was supposed to be normal. Some singing clips, some behind the scenes stories, maybe a funny TikTok or two. But the internet got something else entirely. Every interview, every red carpet, every press moment, Ariana and Cynthia are basically glued to each other, and not in a casual, friendly way. In a these two might be sharing a soul at this point way. What could have been a simple, wholesome press tour became a timeline-wide argument about boundaries, emotional intimacy, and whether we're witnessing a friendship, a trauma bond, or a PR strategy that's accidentally too intimate. One of the biggest online theories is that Cynthia acts like Ariana's guard dog. Fans say she inserts herself, shields Ariana from tough questions, monitors her reactions, and keeps a hand on her in a way that feels protective, maybe too protective. Now let's be clear, there is zero evidence that Cynthia Erivo is controlling Ariana, abusive toward her, or violating her boundaries. That's speculation, not fact. But what we can break down is why people perceive it that way. Reason 1. Ariana has been through a lot publicly. Fans still see her as fragile, soft, and easily overwhelmed, so any strong, protective energy around her stands out instantly. Reason 2. Cynthia has a naturally intense presence. She talks with conviction, she listens with full body attention, she moves with confidence. That can read as dominant even when she's just being herself. Reason 3. Humans fill in the blanks. The internet loves roles, dynamics, and archetypes. They see Ariana's soft energy and Cynthia's strong energy and immediately project protector protected. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. It's how audiences interpret the vibe. Reason 4. We are watching edited moments. A 3-second clip missing context can turn two people comforting each other into a full-blown conspiracy. So the question becomes, are people watching Cynthia protect Ariana, or are people watching their own insecurities projected onto a friendship? Now here is where the discourse gets chaotic. Both women are in relationships. Cynthia Erivo in a committed relationship with Lena Waithe. Ariana Grande engaged to Ethan Slater. So when people see intense affection between them, the internet starts asking the messiest possible question. If they're both taken, why does their chemistry look like this? But again, there are regular explanations that don't involve cheating or secret romance. Possibility 1. Some friendships, especially queer friendships, involve more physical closeness. It's normal. Possibility 2. Working on a huge movie like Wicked creates a strong emotional bond. High pressure, long hours, massive expectations. People naturally cling to the person going through the same thing. Possibility 3. Ariana gravitates toward emotionally intense friendships. We've seen that pattern her whole career. Possibility 4. The internet hates when women show affection without a scandal attached. Some people genuinely cannot comprehend that physical intimacy can be platonic. Possibility 5. People like drama a lot, and this is easy drama to invent. So suddenly, instead of talking about Wicked, the storyline becomes, are their partners okay with this? Even though none of the actual evidence points to any boundary problems in their real relationships. Now personally, I think that's bullshit. Queer or not, there are obvious attachment issues between the two of them. The crying, constant touching, constant lack of emotional regulation. If I didn't know better, I'd say these girls were high as a kite. And I feel like given the history of The Wizard of Oz, it wouldn't surprise me, queer or not, there is such a thing as boundaries, and I'm not sure if their partners are necessarily comfortable with that. Also, a thing that stands out to me significantly is the weight loss. They all look borderline anorexic. Well, except for Cynthia, because she's honestly built like a tank. Those strong-ass Angela Bassett arms, no shade though. Now, personally, I think that's bullshit. Queer or not, there are obvious attachment issues between the two of them. The crying, constant touching, constant lack of emotional regulation. If I didn't know better, I'd say these girls were high as a kite. And I feel like given the history of The Wizard of Oz, it wouldn't surprise me, queer or not, there is such a thing as boundaries, and I'm not sure if their partners are necessarily comfortable with that. Also, a thing that stands out to me significantly is the weight loss. They all look borderline anorexic. Well, except for Cynthia, because she's honestly built like a tank. Those strong ass Angela Bassett arms, no shade though. Alright, y'all, buckle up because Hollywood is doing that thing again. You know, that thing where they take an old dusty trope from 1932, spray it with rainbow glitter, and try to convince us it's progressive now. Today, we're talking about the utterly bizarre, low key, unsettling, high key symbolic dynamic between Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo during the Wicked Press tour, and the theory that Hollywood is quietly pushing a brand new flavor of an old addiction, the queer white savior narrative, starring Ariana as the fragile angel and Cynthia as the protective, stoic guardian. Let's get into it. Part 1. Hollywood has a savior addiction, and it's getting weird. Hollywood loves the protector chach damsel combo. It's their favorite seasoning. They sprinkle that on everything. Beauty and the Beast, King Kong, Phantom of the Opera, literally half of 20th century cinema. And now, they've decided to repackage it with a modern twist. What if we made it queer-coded, but still kept all the same racial power dynamics? Because nothing says progress like recycling the same tropes but adding glitter. Part 2. Cynthia Erivo, the powerful otherworldly force. Look at how they frame Cynthia. Shaved head, strong physicality, dark, structured outfits, a more stoic, grounded presence. Hollywood sees this and goes, great, the protector archetype, big, strong, mysterious, put her next to a pale girl immediately. Even when it's meant to be positive, it taps into a very old cinematic language, the non-white guardian figure who exists to emotionally stabilize or support the fragile white Lee. It's an aesthetic shortcut Hollywood has used forever. Part 3. Ariana Markoyske Deumni, the porcelain fairy who needs saving. Now let's talk Ariana. She's being pushed as tiny, soft, glowing, delicate, whimsical, ethereal Hollywood loves. When a white woman looks one draft away from floating into heaven, they eat it up. The media positioning turns her into the emotional centerpiece, the innocent, the muse, the one we're supposed to protect at all costs. So when you place her next to Erivo, it automatically creates the contrast. Dark strength versus glowing fragility. Protector versus protected. Stoic versus vulnerable. Hollywood loves that dynamic way too much. Part 4. The press tour is basically a scripted romance novel. Now this is where it gets suspicious. Every photo, every interview, every video clip looks like the studio said, okay Cynthia, stand over Ariana like a bodyguard. Ariana, act small and soft. Okay, great. Now pretend you're about to kiss, but don't actually. Perfect. Print. They're always hugging, touching, leaning in, whispering, holding hands, forehead to forehead, shoulder to shoulder. It's giving, please, ship them for engagement, please, please, please. The chemistry isn't even subtle, and the industry is milking it like a dairy farm. Part 5. And then, the King Kong symbology creeps in, not literally, but visually, emotionally, symbolically. It's very strong, dark-skinned figure reaches toward fragile white figure. That's a cinematic motif with a very messy past. Hollywood has always centered the emotional vulnerability of the white woman. They make her the soft heart of the scene, and everyone else becomes the emotional scaffolding around her. The press tour images echo this hard, whether intentional or not. Part 6. Why Hollywood is doing this. Because it works. Because audiences fall for protector dynamics every time. Because the industry loves the illusion of progress. Look, a queer-coded protector damsel dynamic representation. Meanwhile, the underlying structure hasn't changed at all. White woman, cha, emotional focal point, non-white protector, cha, strength, grounding, sacrifice, press tour, equals style to amplify this contrast. It's the same trope. Wearing a pride flag. Part 7. Why it feels like they're pushing it too hard. There's a difference between chemistry and marketing strategy. And this feels like strategy. The poses, the touching, the hyper intimate interviews, the look at their Bond headlines, the way Cynthia is always positioned like a shield around Ariana. It's giving. We need you to see this dynamic. We need you to feel this dynamic. We need you to buy into this dynamic. Hollywood is selling a symbolic story out, even off screen. But tell me I'm tripping. You know I gotta put that uncomfortable truth out there, because if not, who will? But anyway, make sure y'all like and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.